Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Disneyland Hotel Diaries. Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest decisions you have to make when you're planning a Disneyland trip. Where are you gonna stay? Today, we are taking a deep dive into a really popular option, especially for families, the Peacock Suites. We're gonna look at the good, the bad, and everything you need to know to figure out if this is the right spot for your next vacation. I mean, there are just so many hotels claiming to be the best, right? It can get super overwhelming. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down, from how long that walk to the park really is to some of the surprising quirks you'll find inside. By the end of this, you'll know for sure if the Peacock Suites fits your family and your budget. So let's get into it. So let's just start with the raw numbers, shall we? Looking at over 1,000 traveler reviews, the Peacock Suites is sitting at a 3.9 out of 5. Now that's a pretty solid score, but it's not quite a 4.0, which kind of tells me there are probably some really good things and some not so good things that create some key trade-offs we need to explore. And to give you a little more context on that, out of 126 hotels in Anaheim, it comes in at number 57. So yeah, it's smack dab in the middle of the pack. It's not a top-tier luxury spot, but it's also far from being at the bottom of the list. Let's figure out exactly what lands it right there in the middle. All right, so here's our game plan for this deep dive. We'll start by asking if it's a suite deal. Then we'll talk about the all-important walk to Disney. After that, we'll take a look inside the rooms, weigh the perks against the quirks, and then wrap it all up with the final verdict. So the Peacock Suites really positions itself as this comfortable, spacious choice for families. The big question is, does the reality actually live up to that promise? Let's find out. Okay, let's move on to maybe the most important thing for any Disneyland hotel, the location. I mean, how close you are can totally make or break your day, especially when you've got tired kids. So the huge question is, how's the walk? You know, this quote from a past guest just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It sums up what most people say perfectly. Yes, it's walkable, which is a massive plus. But you really need to set your expectations. It's not just a quick little hop across the street. It's a bit of a trek. And trust me, it feels a lot longer after 12 hours in the parks. All right, so after that long walk, what are you actually coming home to? Let's go inside the Peacock Suites and check out what the rooms are like. Okay, so this is really the hotel's main selling point. They offer spacious one-bedroom suites. And as you can see, that means you get a separate bedroom, which gives parents some much-needed privacy and just gives everyone a little more room to spread out. For families, you know that extra space can be an absolute game changer. And it's not just the separate bedroom. Each suite also has a living room with a queen sleeper sofa, plus a kitchenette that comes with a refrigerator and a microwave. This is awesome for storing drinks, maybe heating up some leftovers from dinner, and saving a ton of money on snacks and breakfast. But, you know, we gotta be real here. Those are the professional photos. What are actual guests saying? Well, this person points out that the furniture can feel a bit old and worn. The general feeling is that everything works, it's totally functional, but you probably shouldn't go in expecting brand new, modern, or luxurious decor. Hey, just a super quick pause here. If you're getting some good info out of this for your trip planning, do me a huge favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It honestly helps us make more of these explainers for you. Thanks a bunch. Okay, now for the really crucial part. Every hotel has its awesome highlights and, well, its kind of weird parts. So let's put them head-to-head in our perks versus quirks section. And this slide, wow, it really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got these amazing perks, that extra space, a staff everyone raves about, and a great pool area. But on the other hand, you've got these quirks, a mandatory valet fee, a pretty strong push to attend a timeshare presentation, and no daily housekeeping. You know, let's zoom in on the staff for a second, because this is important. So many reviews just praise the team. This guest says they're kind, prompt, and genuinely seem to care. In a world where customer service can be so hit or miss, this is a massive win for the Peacock Suites. All right, and now let's talk about one of the biggest quirks. This hotel is part of a timeshare company, and a lot of guests mention this hard push for a sales presentation the second you check in. It's just something you need to know about going in, and you have to be ready to politely but firmly say no thanks if you're not interested. And here's another one that's going to hit you right in the wallet. Parking is mandatory valet only. There's no self-park option. And it's going to cost you around $25 a night after tax. So make sure you factor that extra cost into your total hotel budget. And just one last thing to keep in mind, and this is a big one for setting expectations, this place really operates more like a vacation rental, not a full-service hotel. And what that means is that the things you might be used to, like daily housekeeping or a free continental breakfast, they aren't included here. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked location, rooms, and the biggest pros and cons. So what's the bottom line? Let's figure out if the Peacock Suites is the right choice for your family's Disney trip. After looking at everything, I think the Peacock Suites is going to be a great match for you if you're a family that really needs more space than a tiny hotel room. If a kitchenette is high on your priority list for saving money or dealing with picky eaters. If you care more about being able to walk to the park than you do about having fancy new furniture. And this is a big one. If you feel comfortable politely saying no to a sales pitch. Ultimately, it really all boils down to this one question. Is having all that extra space in a suite worth dealing with the mandatory fees and that potential sales pitch? That really is the core trade-off you have to consider. If your answer is yes, if space for your family and a place to relax are more important to you than luxury and avoiding a few extra fees, then yeah, the Peacock Suites could absolutely be that perfect, practical home base for your Disneyland adventure. The choice, as always, is yours. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.